It's a new day. And for an IT professional like you, that means new business challenges that require new thinking to solve new problems with new technology. At Lenovo, we've made it our mission to power yours, continuously in pursuit of what's new, so that we can deliver bigger, better, and smarter solutions to help your business thrive. Like helping your team succeed anywhere with Windows 10 Pro, no matter where they choose to work. Modernizing everything from how you buy technology to how it reaches users. And keeping everyone safe with powerful built-in security, courtesy of Windows 10 Pro. Because when it comes to looking forward, it helps to have a partner who backs you all the way. Ready to pursue the new? Lenovo. Smarter technology for all.
Halo Bapak Ibu, apa kabar? Selamat datang di acara Lenovo Manufacturing Webinar. Boleh dong berikan tepuk tangan secara virtual terlebih dahulu nih biar semangat semuanya. Wah, terima kasih sekali lagi kepada Bapak dan Ibu sudah hadir di acara Lenovo Manufacturing Webinar. Dan tentunya acara pada siang hari ini merupakan rangkaian dalam acara Manufacturing Indonesia and Plastic Rubber Indonesia Virtual Expo. Dan tema yang kita angkat hari ini adalah Value of Edge Computing in Manufacturing. Nah, untuk Bapak Ibu yang sudah bergabung hari ini, terima kasih sekali sudah meluangkan waktunya untuk hadir secara virtual bersama dengan kita semua pada siang hari ini. Dan tentunya untuk Bapak dan Ibu yang nanti jika ada pertanyaan bisa langsung ketik pertanyaannya di kolom chat ataupun bisa langsung menghubungi ke tim kami melalui email di idmktg@lenovo.com. Nanti kita akan umumkan lagi untuk Anda yang masih ingin bertanya. Nah, baik Bapak dan Ibu, kita ketahui bersama bahwa Lenovo Indonesia ini memang telah berkecimpung di dunia komputerisasi di Indonesia sejak lama. Dan pastinya ini banyak sekali nih yang menjadi keunggulan dari Lenovo Indonesia. Itulah sebabnya kenapa Lenovo masih terus bertahan dan terus berinovasi agar terus dapat memenuhi kebutuhan kita dalam dunia digital saat ini. Kita ketahui ya bahwa dunia digital itu memang terus berkembang, terus berinovasi, dan untuk itu Lenovo memang selalu menyiapkan inovasi-inovasinya untuk kebutuhan digital kita. Nah, sekali lagi Bapak Ibu yang sudah bergabung hari ini, wah jangan kemana-mana karena nanti tim dari Lenovo akan memilih 2 orang Bapak Ibu yang beruntung yang sudah bergabung hari ini secara virtual. Kita siapkan 2 hadiah. Untuk yang pertama kita punya ada 2 unit headset ThinkPad X1. Wah, kira-kira siapakah 2 Bapak Ibu yang beruntung? Ini dia hadiahnya. Lumayan nih. Untuk work from home ataupun untuk study from home. Wah, ini boleh nih. Silahkan. Jadi nanti akan dipilih oleh tim Lenovo. Kira-kira siapakah 2 orang yang beruntung? Nah, tidak hanya itu. Wah, kok hadiahnya cuma 2 nih? Tenang. Sudah disiapkan ada e-voucher senilai Rp100.000 untuk masing-masing yang nanti di akhir acara mengisi feedback form. Jadi ini untuk 100 orang tercepat pertama yang akan mendapatkan e-voucher senilai Rp100.000. Wah, lumayan ya. Jadi tunggu QR code-nya nanti Tia akan berikan di akhir acara. Baik, first of all I would like to introducing our speakers today. Dan pertama-tama saya mau memperkenalkan terlebih dahulu nih untuk para speakers kita yang sudah hadir secara virtual hari ini untuk menyapa dan juga untuk memberikan insight-nya kepada Bapak dan Ibu. Nah, yang pertama saya ingin memperkenalkan terlebih dahulu selaku Mid Market Lead Lenovo Indonesia, Bapak Stevianus Jatiman. Halo, selamat siang Pak Stevianus.
Halo, selamat siang Tia.
Wah, ini Bapak dan Ibu semua sepertinya sudah siap nih Pak untuk mendengarkan insight apa nih hari ini akan disampaikan oleh Lenovo ya Pak ya?
Pasti.
Pasti. Baik, terima kasih Pak Stevianus Jatiman sudah bergabung secara virtual hari ini. And next, I would like to introducing our Lenovo ThinkEdge Business Development Consultant Asia Pacific, Mr. Srinivas Krishnapa. Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Srinivas. Wah, ini sudah bergabung juga bersama dengan kita semua. Hello, good afternoon.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you everyone for your participation today.
Thank you so much and see you again at the presentation.
Yes.
Oke, thank you Mr. Srinivas. Nah, Bapak Ibu siap-siap. Untuk Anda jika ada pertanyaan untuk Bapak Srinivas ataupun Bapak Stevianus, silahkan langsung ketik pertanyaannya di kolom komen ataupun di kolom chat. Dan silahkan juga hubungi tim kami di email idmktg@lenovo.com. Nah, langsung saja nih untuk mengawali acara kita pada siang hari ini. Belum lengkap rasanya kalau tuan rumah belum menyapa kita semua. Nah, kira-kira ada inovasi baru apa sih ataupun kira-kira perkembangan apa nih yang dilakukan oleh Lenovo dalam Lenovo Manufacturing Webinar ini, dan tentunya masih dalam rangkaian acara Manufacturing Indonesia and Plastic Rubber Indonesia Virtual Expo dengan tema Value of Edge Computing in Manufacturing. Kalau begitu langsung saja sudah hadir secara virtual hari ini selaku Mid Market Lead Lenovo Indonesia. Kita sambut Bapak Stevianus Jatiman.
Oke, selamat siang semuanya dan selamat datang di acara hari ini. Perkenalkan, saya Stevianus Jatiman, Mid Market Lead Lenovo Indonesia. Sebelumnya saya ingin mengucapkan terima kasih kepada Permerindo yang telah menyelenggarakan acara hari ini. Serta terima kasih kepada pembicara yang telah hadir hari ini, Mr. Srinivas, selaku ThinkEdge Business Development Consultant Lenovo Asia Pacific. Senang sekali dapat berada di sini bersama Bapak Ibu sekalian. Lenovo, seperti yang kita tahu, bahwa merupakan perusahaan teknologi global yang beroperasi di lebih dari 180 market di seluruh dunia. Dengan visi Smarter Technology for All, kami terus berinovasi melalui 34 fasilitas kami, serta dukungan 63.000 karyawan secara global. Sampai saat ini, kami telah menyuplai lebih dari 1 miliar device secara global dan mendukung terciptanya intelligent transformation di seluruh dunia. Saat ini, Lenovo bukan hanya perusahaan device, tetapi juga menjadi perusahaan solution company. Contohnya, kita bisa membeli unit yang sudah tidak terpakai, sehingga dapat mendapatkan bagi perusahaan mendapatkan tambahan uang lagi untuk membeli device baru. Jadi kita juga bisa membeli device lama dari perusahaan Bapak Ibu. Pada webinar hari ini, kami harap Bapak Ibu dapat mengetahui lebih dalam lagi terhadap solusi Lenovo, terutama di manufacturing industry, yaitu Lenovo ThinkEdge dan OEM Solution yang dapat membawa manufacturer menuju Edge Computing and IoT Solution. Sekali lagi, terima kasih kepada partisipan sudah meluangkan waktunya untuk hadir bersama kami. Saya kembalikan ke MC.
Terima kasih Bapak Stevianus Jatiman, dan mudah-mudahan Bapak berkenan untuk stay sampai dengan akhir nanti. Jika ada pertanyaan dari Bapak dan Ibu, silahkan langsung ketik pertanyaannya di kolom chat ataupun di kolom komen. Nah, Bapak dan Ibu, wah jadi ini tadi hanya salah satu ya yang disebutkan oleh Pak Stevianus Jatiman, solusi yang diberikan oleh Lenovo untuk kemudahan pengoperasian perusahaan Bapak dan Ibu, yaitu salah satunya adalah dapat dibeli kembali device-nya, lalu nanti akan diberikan untuk device ataupun ditawarkan lagi device yang baru. Wah, ini solusi yang bagus. Dan ternyata Lenovo ini tidak hanya untuk memberikan solusi dari sisi device, tapi juga memberikan solution untuk yang terbaik bagi perusahaan Anda. Nah, jika ada pertanyaan, boleh langsung ketik pertanyaannya di kolom chat ataupun di kolom komen, atau bisa langsung email ke idmktg@lenovo.com. Baiklah, Bapak dan Ibu, langsung saja kita akan memasuki sesi yang sudah ditunggu-tunggu, yaitu sesi presentasi kita hari ini dengan tema Value of Edge Computing in Manufacturing. Dan kita akan mendengarkan bersama dengan Lenovo ThinkEdge Business Development Consultant Asia Pacific. And his passion for emerging technologies such as edge computing and IoT and interest to address Industry 4.0 solutions leveraging AI or machine learning workloads. He has earned many accolades with consumers and partners in APJ, and he also traversed the edge to cloud journey, enabling OEM customers with partner ecosystem across manufacturing, industrial automation, energy and utilities, and IoT safety domains. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please join with us, Mr. Srinivas Krishnapa.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for your time. As wonderfully introduced by the host and Stephanius, my name is Srinivas. I'm part of the Lenovo's ThinkEdge and OEM Solutions Group, and I'm based in Singapore. Today, I would like to highlight the value of edge computing solutions from Lenovo in the manufacturing domain. So you all know manufacturing has adopted edge computing much ahead compared to other industries. There is a lot of processing power right on the shop floor in manufacturing plants. It could be the programmable logic controller, the machines themselves, or it could be the on-prem data center. By adopting the right kind of framework and having a robust edge computing framework helps manufacturers to have a better and an efficient data management system, lower your connectivity costs. You could manage your assets remotely, have better security practices, and most importantly, you are able to pursue change control, which is enabled to manage, process, and intelligently make decisions right at the edge. So most manufacturers talk about Industry 4.0. I believe the crux of Industry 4.0 is data. How you acquire data, how you manage your data, and how you analyze your data becomes critical aspect in achieving your Industry 4.0 solutions. When it comes to data, edge computing follows the trend. Today, most of the data on manufacturing shop floors is right at the edge. In this webinar, Lenovo, along with its partners, Intel and Microsoft, is going to showcase some of the use cases and the products we have in order to enable manufacturers to pursue the right kind of edge computing solutions. Can we move on to the next slide, please? So while the next slide is coming up, I'm going to talk about the highlights of the business use cases from whole computing perspective. So Lenovo is not into embedded computing or embedded parts as of today. We address edge computing from a whole compute perspective. So if you look at the left-hand side, it's classified as basic edge workloads. So when we look at the whole compute, we classify the workloads into three categories. One is the basic edge workloads. The second one is edge-based inferencing. And the third one is computer vision workloads. So I'm going to highlight how we can relate each of these workloads in manufacturing domain or right on the shop floor. Let's consider basic edge workloads. At your control level, you have the actuators, you have the field level sensors, there could be programmable logic controllers, there could be, in the new age shop floor, there could be programmable automation controllers, right? All these are emitting data continuously. So you have the data acquisition systems at the control level. This is where Lenovo can contribute in acquiring data from multiple heterogeneous components on your shop floor. And because these devices are typically into acquisition of data and transmission of data to a central server or to a private cloud, it doesn't require heavy compute right at the edge. So we have few of the products which I will highlight in the subsequent slides, but wherever there is very minimal movement of data and there is no information processing right at the edge, we have categorized that as basic edge workloads, which could be your data acquisition systems. It could also be your alarm management systems, where there is a simple workload of identifying a threat and informing the operator. So there is no change control here, and hence the compute requires very less components. We have highlighted few of the pictures here under basic edge workloads. So in order to relate to the multiple independent software vendors who are attending this session, who also build solutions for manufacturing, I can give you example on a vending machine. So vending machine, the core function is to dispense cues. Today, even the manufacturers who produce gloves, hand sanitizers, have these vending machines right at their shop floor for their end customers to come and test their products. So what does the vending machine do? It dispenses the cues within the vending machine kiosk, and it also highlights the inventory level to a central server. So there are basically two functions: the core function of dispensing a SKU, the second function of highlighting what is the inventory level. So you see there are very basic workloads and there is no bidirectional movement of data. So you don't require a heavy compute here. We move to the next one, which is edge inferencing. Can we go back to the previous slide, please? So I mentioned about edge inferencing, which is the next category of workload. So here, there is always a bidirectional movement of data, and the data which is acquired by the system does go through processing right at the edge level. Few of the workloads can be condition-based monitoring, overall equipment effectiveness. It could be automated board inspection for a semiconductor. It could be quality detection for a beverage bottling plant, right? So where the information is processed right at the edge, and where you can send an optimized artificial intelligence model right at the edge, that is where we have categorized this into inferencing. Does it require heavy compute? Yes, it requires medium to heavy compute based upon the workloads you are going to pursue on the shop floor. The last one is computer vision. So what happens in computer vision? Typically, in this kind of workloads, there are cameras, there is an edge compute device, there is a software or the logic written by the in-house team of a manufacturing company, or could be an independent software vendor. And most importantly, there is artificial intelligence techniques involved. So these four components form a critical aspect of computer vision workloads. Few of the examples can be machine vision systems, where you have the Intel real depth cameras, you have the Lenovo ThinkEdge portfolio, could be the SE350 model, capturing all the images, processing right at the edge level, and giving the information to the operator right on the shop floor. So computer vision requires heavy compute, which can run a continuous stream of AI and ML models. So when we look back at edge inferencing, there you see the private cloud or the data center pushing an optimized AI model. Here, in computer vision workloads, you can train your AI ML models right at the edge. When we speak about value, what can these edge compute bring to each one of you, be it process manufacturing or discrete manufacturing? The first and most important thing is you increase your efficiency. Let's take example of a jet engine, right? By continually monitoring the jet engine, you not only build a predictive maintenance layer, you also can improve on your costs. For example, in a large commercial aircraft, if the airlines is able to bring 2% reduction in fuel usage, it is going to result in close to $20 million annually. So imagine the amount of value the edge computing solutions can bring to your manufacturing shop floors. The next one is improving safety and customer experience. Some of the manufacturing shop floors has paint systems, right? Let us consider automobile plants. You have a dedicated paint system wherein the vehicles are brought into that particular enclosure and they are painted. But then these paints contain hazardous chemicals. So in order to track your employees, whether he or she is wearing the right equipment or the gear to avoid consuming these hazardous substances, you can bring in edge computing by having a computer vision system which could identify whether your employee is wearing the right gear and whether he or she is in the right zone. You can not only ensure safety of your employees, but you can also reduce your insurance premium, what you're paying to the service providers. We talk about customer experience. So I will again come back to automobiles. Today, most automobiles have a robust edge computing system to determine factors like braking efficiency, driver behavior, driver patterns, right? Your data scientists sitting at the comfort of their homes or in the command center can ensure that the right data from each of these vehicles is being transferred so they can analyze and bring in the change control. It could be to remote assets right at the shop floor. For example, it could be enabling this solution on your forklift, could be manual or autonomous, right? You can also leverage edge computing to send updates over the air in a true IoT style. Imagine in the previous era, if I have an issue with my airbag, the company in my car, the company calls me and asks me to bring down the car for the service center for a couple of days and they will fix the airbag. But today, because of the edge compute, the data scientists can push the code right onto your compute or the MCU in your vehicle and it instantly changes. There is change control. It could be a change control in your braking efficiency. It could be your manual wiper becomes rain sensing wipers, all with the help of edge computing, right? So imagine you go to sleep one night worrying about the concerns of your braking efficiency in your car, and the next day the car downloads a code and it becomes instantly safer. We talk about the revenue models, building new revenue models. I spoke about vending machine. So the traditional vending machines used to have components for dispensing SKUs and accepting coins or currency denominations. If you look at today's vending machines, you can leverage your smart cards, you can make payments through your debit, credit, and also NFC-based payments. In some of the countries, even cryptocurrencies are accepted on these vending machines. The vending machines have also evolved to take customer feedbacks. You can even add an additional revenue model by building a digital advertising platform on your vending machine. So think about it. What used to just take coins and currency notes and dispense queues has built in multiple revenue models because of the edge compute, which is integrated or embedded right onto that kiosk. Can we move to the next slide, please? So what is IoT or edge computing in manufacturing? You all know that there are already hundreds of sensors, maybe few to many PLCs and PNCs right on the shop floor. So there is immense data being processed. It could be any IP device. It could be a camera, it could be a sensors, or it could be the programmable logic controller itself. And it is all in heterogeneous in nature. There could be a PLC from vendor A, there could be a PAC from vendor B, there could be sensors from vendor C, D, etc. So the data is flowing in multiple communication protocols. So in order to standardize, format, and read all data in one digital format, you require an edge computing device. It could be your data acquisition systems, or it could be your machine controller systems. That is where Lenovo's ThinkEdge has a wide, diversified portfolio of edge computing solutions, which can address 3 of the workloads I mentioned. Could be basic, could be inferencing models, could be computer vision models. I've highlighted few of the workloads, what you can relate to in the slide. Let's make this more like a dialogue. If you have questions, you can type it in the chat column. Can we move to the next slide, please? So the slide showcases few of the workloads, what is considered as high ROI, high return on investment, and what is the desired outcome. I would like to highlight on overall equipment effectiveness, which is today considered as the highest ROI workload in manufacturing solutions. So you can ask me whether Lenovo provides a OEE solution in full. So we, along with our partners, Intel and Microsoft, and along with the independent software vendors, are able to achieve a plug and play OEE solution. Could be on a test mode or could be on a complete production mode. So we have tied up with ISVs who have multiple installs, including Indonesia, both in process and discrete manufacturing, leveraging Lenovo's ThinkEdge products and providing a end-to-end OEE solution. I have a slide later which talks about the OEE we have enabled in a bottled beverage plant. Can we move to the next slide, please? So when we talk about edge compute in a manufacturing shop floor, there are many challenges. I cannot use my personal computer or a laptop at the manufacturing shop floor because it is a rugged environment. There is dust, there is, it needs to take in the shock. There is a lot of wide operating temperature in multiple zones. Maybe there is no airflow in those environments. So considering all this, the ThinkEdge portfolio is built and designed in such a way that most of our products are fanless in nature. So you don't require airflow to run these products. We also understand that these edge compute devices needs to run 24/7 without any downtime. Hence, the chassis is designed in such a way that there are very few or zero moving parts. When there are zero moving parts, the chances of failure is less, and hence you are building a redundant edge compute system to enable your Industry 4.0 workloads. We not only have the advantage in terms of ruggedness, we also provide long shelf life cycle. So we have a dedicated platform applications engineering team and also a product lifecycle team, which will work with your engineering folks to design the right edge compute, which can last for a long time. Because your SCADA systems are not going to change every 2 years or every 3 years. Your MES system is going to be there for maybe 8 to 10 years. So Lenovo ensures that the hardware portfolio, what we provide, matches your product lifecycle terms. Can we move on to the next slide, please? Thank you. This slide talks about the product portfolio Lenovo's ThinkEdge and OEM solutions is bringing to you. On to your far left-hand side, you have the Intel-based M90 Nano IoT, which can be classified when we look at workloads to cater to the basic workloads. But M90 Nano IoT is also powerful to take in up to Core i5 processors, so you can leverage this machine even for overall equipment effectiveness workloads. Some of the manufacturers are using this machine for even machine controllers use cases. So this is an ideal fit for both basic edge workloads and edge inferencing models. M90 Nano IoT is a complete fanless chassis, can operate between 0 to 50 degree temperature at zero airflow. With respect to operating systems, it can support Microsoft Windows 10 Pro. It can also support Microsoft Windows 10 Enterprise IoT Edition. We classify M90 Nano IoT as a true embedded machine. The next in line is called the Edge Gateway or the Industrial Gateway, which is named as ThinkEdge SE30. The best part of this device is it can cater to wide operating temperature ranging from minus 20 degrees Celsius all the way up to positive 60 degrees Celsius. So think about all the use cases which can come into in this wide operating temperature. It is also fanless in nature, obviously, and has the option to include an LTE module for communication. Currently, this device is being validated to take in worldwide open SIM category on LTE module 4G. It also can be retrofitted with an I/O box for additional expansion ports. Both M90 Nano IoT and the ThinkEdge SE30 can take in the additional I/O box if the use case demands more ports. For example, on SE30, we can enable up to 4 digital inputs and 4 digital outputs, and could support the core industry protocols like Modbus and BACnet. We move to the next one, which is a 2-liter form factor, which is called as the ThinkEdge SE50. SE50 again is a fanless device, can be configured with options of i5 processor and the high-end i7 processor. The i7 processor can be enabled with vPro for better management. So the SE50 in true class is segregated as an embedded PC or an industrial PC. Many of our customers are using it as their SCADA servers, MES servers, machine controller use cases, and also to some extent on machine vision systems or quality control systems. The last in line is the ThinkSystem SE350. It is a server class machine. It is 1U in height, but it is a short depth server. It can take in up to Xeon processors, has options of LTE module, and can be configured with discrete GPU, which enables you to run all your CV, computer vision applications, and train your AI ML models right at the edge. So when we look at the initial classification on the previous slide, the products are segregated to cater to the workloads we highlighted. Can we move to the next slide, please? So the use case, which is depicting on this slide, is about a overall equipment effectiveness workload on a beverage bottling plant. We have a lot of them in Indonesia. So Lenovo, along with our partners, have brought in this ISV ecosystem where the ISV, the independent software vendor, writes the logic on our edge compute devices. The logic comprises of overall equipment effectiveness software. What is OEE? As most of you know, it is the gold standard of measurement in manufacturing. It has three critical components: availability, performance, and quality. So if I have to measure the OEE, all these three factors, that is A into P into Q, is critical to get the right OEE. In this particular scenario, the customer achieved close to 80% gains in their throughput, and it saved huge amount of dollars with respect to CapEx. The reason being, when we achieve 80% of gain on all the OEE factors, I don't need to change my machines on the shop floor. So my machine life cycle gets extended by implementing the right OEE solution. And what is the critical component of the OEE solution? The software or the IP needs to be powered by a rugged edge compute which doesn't fail. Or it needs to work in an environment which is 24/7 operations and needs to sustain that harshness. I'm moving to the next slide. So OEE is not limited to the $500,000 or $1 million machines. Overall equipment effectiveness can be installed in simple workloads. For example, if I'm going to achieve 100% OEE on a pressure meter, what do I achieve? I reduce my CapEx expenses. I ensure that there is no cavitation or leaks. And I ensure that the progressive model where the equipments are connected to this pressure meter operates and functions 100% in that particular shift time. So OEE can be achieved in simple use cases like an electronic weigh scale. It could be on a power meter or even at the screw levels. So please remember that for achieving 100% OEE, you need to have 100% availability, 100% performance, and 100% quality. Availability is still an independent factor. The reason being, apart from having OEE on the machines, there could be also the factor of operators. So when we look at availability, both the operator availability and the machine availability needs to be considered to achieve the highest OEE. I come to the end of my presentation, and I would request each one of you to ask questions and talk to your partners, talk to your account managers, talk to your contacts at Lenovo, and understand in depth as to how Lenovo's ThinkEdge solutions can bring in value right at the shop floor. Our portfolio is not just limited to edge compute. We also have a wide range of products ranging right from tablets all the way up to hyper-converged infrastructure to address the complete edge, core, and private cloud requirements of your manufacturing plants. I would like to thank you all once again for your time and have a great day ahead. I will wait for the questions to answer. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, Mr. Srinivas, for your presentation. And don't go anywhere. Please remain on your screen before we going to the Q&A session. Thank you so much. Dan Bapak Ibu, terima kasih sekali lagi untuk Anda yang masih stay sampai dengan akhir. Wah, terima kasih nih. Ingat, masih ada 2 hadiah spesial nih untuk Bapak Ibu yang terpilih. Nanti akan dipilih nih oleh tim Lenovo. Kira-kira siapakah yang akan membawa pulang 2 hadiah spesial, headset ThinkPad X1. Wah, lumayan nih. Dan jangan lupa nanti kita akan munculkan QR Code. Ketika kami munculkan QR Code, segera isi. Dimohon dengan hormat untuk dapat mengisi lengkap bahwa nanti 100 untuk 100 yang isi pertama ya. Nah, ini dia, sudah muncul. Wah, berarti boleh nih. Baik, karena sudah muncul, jadi silahkan boleh scan atau snap QR Code yang ada di layar Anda untuk bisa mengisi feedback form yang ada di dalamnya. Silahkan. Yuk, untuk Bapak Ibu boleh langsung snap QR Code. Dan untuk 100 yang isi paling awal nanti akan dikirimkan e-voucher untuk Bapak dan Ibu senilai Rp100.000. Wah, lumayan nih, e-voucher senilai Rp100.000 untuk Anda yang mengisi 100 paling awal. Baik, silahkan boleh di snap dulu atau boleh di screen capture atau boleh langsung di snap QR Code-nya untuk mengisi feedback form. Baik, sambil menunggu Bapak Ibu mengisi feedback form, ini sudah banyak pertanyaan. Kalau gitu langsung saja kita masuk ke sesi pertanyaan, tapi sebelumnya untuk Bapak dan Ibu yang ingin bertanya boleh langsung ketik pertanyaan Anda di kolom chat atau di kolom komen. Jadi karena nih yang menyaksikan sekarang ini di acara Manufacturing Indonesia and Plastic Rubber Indonesia Virtual Expo, ini dari macam-macam nih. Ada yang langsung dari acara rangkaian Virtual Expo, ada juga yang menyaksikan melalui channel YouTube dari Lenovo ID, ada juga yang menyaksikan melalui Zoom. Jadi silahkan untuk Anda yang menyaksikan dari mana saja, jika ada pertanyaan boleh langsung ketik pertanyaannya di kolom chat ataupun di kolom komen, atau bisa bertanya juga di email kami di idmktg@lenovo.com. Baik, kalau gitu langsung saja untuk pertanyaan yang pertama. Wah, saya mau mengundang Pak Stevianus dulu nih. Halo Pak Stevianus, selamat siang. Masih bersama dengan kami hari ini?
Masih dong.
Masih dong. Wah, mantap. Pak Stevianus, ini ada pertanyaan nih Pak. Tadi kan di awal Pak Stevianus katakan kalau mau beli produk baru, itu jangan lupa produk lamanya bisa dijual lagi nih ke Lenovo. Nah, ini ada pertanyaan dari Pak Andi Widodo. Apakah strategi dengan solusi membeli perangkat lama adalah salah satu partisipasi Lenovo dalam kepedulian lingkungan nih? Silahkan, mungkin Pak Stevianus boleh menjawab.
Oke, jadi sebelumnya saya ingin coba menjelaskan lebih banyak gitu ya tentang AR. Kita sebutnya ARS, Asset Recovery Service.
Oke.
Jadi ini kan kalau setiap company itu biasanya unit tersebut ada nilai bukunya.
Betul.
Nah, nilai bukunya ini biasanya ada yang 4 tahun, ada yang 5 tahun. Nah, di sini kita berusaha untuk membantu Bapak Ibu. Biasanya tuh kalau misalnya sudah melewati nilai bukunya, unit tersebut sebenarnya sudah 0 nilainya, sudah tidak ada nilainya lagi. Bahkan itu akan menjadi beban. Kenapa? Karena biasanya cuma ditumpukin. Jadi cuma ditaruh di dalam unit, ditaruh di gudang, ditumpukin, kemudian tidak digunakan. Akhirnya itu menyita ruangan, terus kemudian kita harus menyewa ruang, terus mesti ngejagain juga seperti itu ya. Nah, di Lenovo kita ada services yang bisa untuk membeli kembali. Jadi kita buyback. Unitnya pun tidak hanya unit Lenovo. Jadi bisa juga unit brand lainnya. Juga bisa berupa printer, bisa berupa infocus, bisa berupa proyektor. Jadi memang alat-alat yang alat-alat IT, bahkan sampai dengan server juga bisa kami lakukan pembelian seperti itu. Nah, tujuannya apa? Jadi kita bisa membeli dan itu kita hapuskan datanya. Jadi kalau bagi teman-teman yang memang butuh audit, jadi karena diaudit, nah kita juga bisa menyiapkan data auditnya sehingga dari data manajemen itu juga sangat aman seperti itu.
Oke, jadi memang sebetulnya ini solusi ya. Bisa dibilang kalau dari sisi cuan nih lebih hemat untuk perusahaan ya Pak ya. Selain istilahnya nih, selain menghemat tempat, menghemat biaya untuk monitoring, tapi juga nambah cuan untuk modal kalau Bapak Ibu mau beli unit baru. Waduh, ini solusi juga nih. Saya pikir tadi hanya untuk unit Lenovo saja Pak, tapi untuk unit-unit lain yang berhubungan dengan IT ini juga boleh ya? Baik, Pak Stevianus, kita tunggu pertanyaan lagi dari Bapak Ibu yang lainnya. Saya masih memilih untuk pertanyaan berikutnya. Baik, mungkin sebelum kita ke Pak Stevianus, saya mau ke Mr. Srinivas. Hello, Mr. Srinivas.
Yes, please.
Okay, Mr. Srinivas, that as Mr. Stevianus said before, that Lenovo will pre-buy or buy your old one before you buying the latest of Lenovo device. So maybe sometimes we didn't know about we don't know about the products or maybe the solutions or maybe how to manage the devices. So will Lenovo provide device management solutions for the company?
That's a very good question. Thanks for asking. So on the SE350, Lenovo has a proprietary device management solution, which can be leveraged by both customers and partners. On the rest of the portfolio, we have tied up with tier 1 vendors in the region who can enable not just device management, but also the entire features of an robust IoT platform.
Wow. Wow, so the company can ask the Lenovo to provide device management solution to their companies, right?
Absolutely. So we have tied up with partners who have a device management solution, but typically manufacturers require a robust IoT platform. So companies have the flexibility to choose just device management, or they can go modular to choose multiple other features of an IoT platform.
Wow, perfect. So let Lenovo manage your device solution and you can concentrate to innovating your company. Right, like that ya Mr. Srinivas? Oke, thank you so much Mr. Srinivas. Dan selanjutnya kita akan beranjak ke pertanyaan berikutnya. Still with Mr. Srinivas. Mr. Srinivas, there is a question. Will Lenovo provide? This is already answered by Mr. Srinivas. And the next question is, will Lenovo address data center needs in manufacturing plant? Okay, Mr. Srinivas?
Absolutely. During the fag end of my presentation, I did mention that Lenovo not only plays in edge computing, but also the entire gamut of edge, core, and private cloud. Yeah. So we do have hyperconverged solutions. We do have a range of servers, storage, and the entire infrastructure, which can take care of your on-premise data center needs.
Okay, so the next question from Ibu Jennifer Larasati, will Lenovo provide manufacturing solutions?
Very good question. So when we consider manufacturing solutions, let me again highlight. So if we are looking at specific workloads, for example, machine vision systems, so we have tied up with partners who have built in an appliance model along with Lenovo's ThinkEdge solutions. So that could be like a plug and play device if you need to adopt machine vision systems. Manufacturing is very wide. So we are focusing on the high ROI workloads as of now. But if you're looking at OT security or overall equipment effectiveness or automated board inspection, these are the ones we can provide as an appliance model.
Okay, talking about the security, this is still from Ibu Jennifer. What's the best option to ensure maximum security for our company business and customer data?
Again, a very good question. Under the Industry 4.0, security for manufacturing is classified into two sectors, the operational technology security and the IT security. So Lenovo has partnerships with key players in OT security, for example, Tenable, Clarity, and also multiple vendors with IT security to bring in the ThinkShield platform. So Lenovo's ThinkShield is a combination of hardware, software, and processors. It's more of a suite which can enable both OT and IT security as per the compliance defined for your domain and the vertical.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Srinivas. So you can, or maybe if you wants to the best option to ensure maximum security for your company, business, and also customer data, maybe you can talk more with our team to ensure that you have the best maximum security for your company and also for your customer data. Thank you, Mr. Srinivas. And while waiting for the next questions, saya ingin mengingatkan kepada Bapak dan Ibu, jika masih ada pertanyaan, boleh silahkan nih Bapak dan Ibu ketik pertanyaannya di kolom chat, ataupun untuk Anda yang bergabung melalui Zoom, boleh ketik pertanyaannya di kolom chat. Untuk Anda yang bergabung melalui Manufacturing Indonesia and Plastic Rubber Indonesia Virtual Expo, boleh di kolom komen, ataupun untuk Anda yang sedang bergabung melalui YouTube, boleh langsung tanya di kolom komen. Wah, ini karena banyak nih pertanyaannya yang masuk, jadi kita akan bacakan satu persatu terlebih dahulu. Baik, pertanyaan berikutnya. Nah, oh ya, ini untuk Anda yang ingin bertanya juga bisa langsung ke idmktg@lenovo.com. Nah, silahkan. Atau ini juga boleh ke stiman@lenovo.com. Nah, jadi silahkan nih, ada 2 email. Boleh, silahkan. Bapak Ibu lebih nyaman yang mana? Baik, saya masih menunggu untuk pertanyaan berikutnya. Ingat Bapak dan Ibu, masih ada 2 hadiah nih untuk Anda yang beruntung hari ini. Yo, jangan kemana-mana dulu nih. Untuk Anda yang sudah bergabung, stay with us until the end. Jadi silahkan bergabung sampai dengan akhir nanti, karena nanti secara spesial akan dipilih oleh tim Lenovo siapakah 2 orang yang beruntung untuk mendapatkan headset ThinkPad X1. Wah, lumayan nih, keren banget nih headsetnya. Jadi sampai dengan akhir nanti silahkan bergabung bersama dengan kami. Dan yang belum isi feedback, boleh langsung isi feedback formnya. Dan 100 orang pertama yang paling cepat admit untuk pengisian feedback akan diberikan e-voucher senilai Rp100.000. Baiklah, oke. Come back to Mr. Srinivas. There is a question. How is Lenovo solutions to integrate existing machine with various communication protocols? Can Lenovo ThinkEdge cover all machine communication protocols? Please, Mr. Srinivas.
Good question. Again, yes, with respect to interfacing with industry standard communication protocols, most of it has been validated, but we also tie up with vendors like Software AG, who have more than 300 plus communication protocols validated on their Cumulocity IoT platform. So this is again an appliance model from Lenovo, where you have the Cumulocity IoT platform integrated onto our hardware. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Srinivas. There is still a question from audiences to Mr. Srinivas. Okay, the question. Okay, the question is how. Wait, while we wait for the next question, saya ingin mengingatkan lagi kepada Bapak dan Ibu, silahkan sambil kita menunggu pertanyaan-pertanyaan yang masuk, boleh sambil isi feedback form. Nah, tadi sudah kita berikan ya, boleh mungkin kita munculkan lagi untuk feedback form QR code-nya. Nah, ini dia, silahkan Bapak dan Ibu boleh langsung snap QR code yang ada, yang tadi sudah kami berikan, dan boleh diisi dengan lengkap feedback formnya. Dan untuk 100 pengisian feedback form yang paling awal, ini akan mendapatkan e-voucher senilai Rp100.000, dan untuk 2 orang terpilih yang hari ini sudah menyaksikan akan mendapatkan headset ThinkPad X1. Baiklah, baik, sudah dipilih nampaknya oleh tim kami. Untuk pertanyaannya, still from Mr. Srinivas, the question is, for machine that are manual or old school, if there is no communications protocol yet, if there is no communication protocol yet, how do you integrate them into the edge computing ecosystem? Okay, ini istilahnya.
Great question again.
Yeah,
it's a great question. So for legacy machines or even the CNC machines, we have a partner ecosystem who can enable, for example, the sensors can be integrated or embedded into these machines to throw the right data being generated, and that particular data gets acquired or the data is transferred to the edge computing device where the inferencing can happen. It could also be just a trigger system or an alarm system, or it can be a complete inferencing model. So while we do have partnerships with both tier 1 and tier 2 sensor/beacon vendors, it is basically on the use case and also the commercial factors which gets involved to narrow down on the particular solution.
Oke, thank you Mr. Srinivas. Jadi ini untuk Bapak Ibu yang mungkin merasa di tempat Anda nih on your manufacturing still have a old one machine atau memiliki mesin yang jadul ya istilahnya ya zaman sekarang ya yang masih manual. Nah ini nggak perlu khawatir, silahkan langsung konsultasikan bersama dengan tim Lenovo. Jadi ini nanti kita akan berikan the best solution untuk Anda. Nah sekali lagi jika masih ada pertanyaan boleh langsung email pertanyaan Anda, boleh dicatat emailnya IDMKTG, sekali lagi India, Delta, Mama, Kilo, Tango, Golf, @lenovo.com. Jadi silahkan nih, jika masih ada pertanyaan boleh langsung ketik pertanyaannya ataupun kirimkan pertanyaan Anda, atau misalkan ada pertanyaan tentang produk atau mau berbicara lebih detail lagi, langsung saja email ke maksud kami di email IDMKTG. Sekali lagi idmktg@lenovo.com, atau nanti akan kami berikan di kolom komen ya untuk lebih jelasnya lagi. Jadi Anda bisa langsung memberikan pertanyaannya dan lebih lanjut lagi akan kami tanggapi. Baik, thank you so much Mr. Srinivas Krisnapa for your presentation and also you already answered all the questions. Dan terima kasih Bapak Stefianus Jatiman. Terima kasih Pak sudah bergabung dengan kita hari ini sampai dengan akhir dan juga sudah memberikan insight dan semangat untuk kita semua untuk tetap beradaptasi dan terus berinovasi apapun kondisinya. Jadi sekali lagi Bapak dan Ibu, mau tidak mau, suka tidak suka di masa digital ini kita disrupted or disrupt. Wah, jadi ini jangan sampai kita terdisrupt ya untuk Anda semua. Jadi kita memang harus berpindah digital atau melakukan digital transformation untuk efektivitas, lalu juga pastinya untuk mengikuti perkembangan zaman agar perusahaan kita tetap berjalan dengan lancar mengikuti perkembangan zaman. Baik, apapun yang Anda butuhkan, Lenovo siap untuk menjawab dan memberikan solusi kepada Anda, terutama untuk manufacturing Indonesia and Plastic Rubber Indonesia dalam Virtual Expo kali ini. Jadi silahkan jangan ragu-ragu untuk bertanya lebih lanjut melalui email kami di idmktg@lenovo.com. Baik, kalau begitu Bapak Ibu silahkan sekali lagi mungkin boleh kita tunjukkan untuk sekali lagi QR code kita bagi Anda yang mungkin belum sempat mengisi. Nah ini dia, silahkan snap QR code yang ada di layar kaca Anda. Boleh langsung snap sekarang juga. Ya, kalau belum sempat snap lagi sibuk sampai in the middle meeting, boleh di screen capture saja. Nanti boleh langsung diisi feedback formnya. Dan masih ada total ya 100 e-voucher untuk Bapak dan Ibu yang mengisi paling cepat. Wah, lumayan nih, 100.000 untuk 100 orang yang paling cepat mengisi feedback form kami melalui snap QR code yang ada di layar kaca Anda. Baik, sudah Bapak Ibu? Sudah di screenshot atau sudah di snap? Baiklah, kalau sudah, kalau gitu saya mengucapkan terima kasih sekali lagi untuk Bapak dan Ibu yang sudah bergabung hari ini dalam acara Lenovo Manufacturing Webinar dalam rangkaian Manufacturing Indonesia and Plastic Rubber Indonesia Virtual Expo dengan tema Value of Edge Computing in Manufacturing. Senang sekali hari ini saya bisa menjadi bagian dalam acara Lenovo Manufacturing Webinar. Semoga apa yang tadi sudah disampaikan oleh para narasumber bermanfaat untuk kita semua dan memberikan kemajuan untuk perusahaan dan terus sukses bersama. Dan jangan lupa jika masih ada pertanyaan langsung saja email ke idmktg@lenovo.com. Akhir kata saya Tia Yustia, sampai jumpa lagi di acara Lenovo berikutnya.